we're going to dive right in. I am really excited about tonight because I have on with me a really, really good friend of mine. And somebody who I love tremendously. He's a great friend. He's been really a mentor to me too in the early days and still. And I really look up to him. I love what he's done in the online marketing space. And so I'm just going to bring him out. We're going to get started because we're going to have a good time tonight. And what we're going to do also is we're going to have a Q&A afterwards. So if you've got questions for me and my buddy Norbert, you want to make sure that you get them ready. We're going to have them all, we're going to have a Q&A session so you can ask whatever you want. Any marketing questions, no matter what, we'll answer them for you. And it's all about just giving you the value. So if you're going to, if you know somebody you think can benefit from this, share the video, get it out there, and we're going to have a blast. So I'm going to go ahead and bring out my buddy here, Mr. Norbert Orlewicz. My friend, what's up? How are you? Good to have you out here.
Hello, I'm doing good. I'm doing awesome. How you doing, Mark? It's an honor to join you here.
I know. I got on Skype with Norbert right before here, and I was shocked to see the beard. It was like, is it getting cold up there in Canada? You had to warm the face up a little bit, or?
No, this isn't a weather thing. It started out as a COVID thing.
Oh yeah.
I just kept growing it, and I just got to a point where my wife actually liked it, because if it's too short, it's too stubbly and stuff.
Yeah.
But then she was like, you know what, I kind of like this, and so once she liked it and approved of it, then I was like, you know what, I kind of like it too. So I finally feel my age. I've always felt like when I'm shaved clean, people mistake me for like in my 30s or whatever. Now I finally feel my age, so I kind of like it.
Hey man, you know what? The way I say it is, we're all getting older. You know what I mean? No matter what, we can try and stop it, but
older and wiser, right?
Exactly.
Mark?
That's the gray. See, just a few years ago, mine was all nice and dark, but now it's like going total gray too. So
yeah,
ain't nothing we can do about it, man. Just age gracefully is the way I see it.
Exactly.
So, well, cool, man. Well, I appreciate you coming out. And for those of you guys that don't know Norbert, I'm going to have him talk just a few minutes here, a little bit about his story, and we'll get into some good stuff. But one of the things I love about Norbert is, the way I first met Norbert was I saw a video of him all over online, and it was because he was, when he had launched his company, My Lead System Pro, with Brian Finale and Todd Schlomer back in, I think it was 2008, right? When you guys launched that?
2008, September 2008, man.
Yeah. So September 2008, and I ended up I joined in January of 2009. And the reason I joined is because from September all the way to January, all I kept seeing was these videos of Norbert everywhere. I'd search on Google, there's a video of Norbert. I'd go to Facebook, there's a video of Norbert. And I was just seeing him all over the place. So I finally got started, and lo and behold, I show up on a webinar, with My Lead System Pro, and I had just generated kind of my first few leads in My Lead System Pro. And on the webinar, they pulled out people who were generating their first leads, and I was one of them, and Norbert was on there. And I was totally stoked, to be pulled out. And I was like, oh man, I just talked to Norbert, the guy in the video, And it's just kind of funny that nowadays, I think of you as just a great friend. I love it when we get together at events and we sit there and have super deep discussions and talk and stuff. So anyway, enough about me, man. Talk a little bit about your story, man. I know you have a story of struggle too in entrepreneurship.
Yeah, totally. It's funny talking about my story now because it's so long ago.
I know.
But I guess it is an important part of the whole thing, and I've told it so many times that you kind of get tired of telling it. So I'll try to keep it short. But I got started in entrepreneurship actually in high school. So this is where the story can get long when you start to get into the details, yeah. Right? But I got introduced into the network marketing industry right out of high school, before I moved from Toronto to British Columbia. And it was funny because I randomly met this strange guy. Next thing I know, I end up in his van, and then in a hotel meeting at an airport, and he's drawing these circles, and I'm absolutely blown away because I'd never seen anything like it before. And you got to understand, I come from an immigrant family, hardworking, blue collar, mother and father, absolutely no business or entrepreneurship mentors in my life at all. Our philosophy, my dad's philosophy of money was easy come, easy go. That was essentially all I learned about money. So when I got exposed to the whole concept of network marketing and leverage and building a business, I was like, oh my God, this is my ticket. Well, it wasn't my ticket at the time because I moved across country to pursue my theater and acting career, which didn't go very far. But
really, I had no idea. See, you learned something new, man.
Yeah, I went to theater school. Went to theater school in Vancouver, British Columbia, and actually dropped out halfway through it. So I am a theater school dropout. Okay. And then I became a snowboard bum. I got into snowboarding. I was in beautiful British Columbia. I discovered the mountains and nature and recreation, and had some fun in BC in my early 20s. Essentially being a snowboard bum. And I went through a little bit of it was an amazing time in my life in my early 20s. And then next thing you know, I met the woman who was going to be my wife, and you start thinking about family, and you start thinking about, I need to make some money and I need to have a career here. Like, there's only so long that I can continue with these dead end jobs. And that's when network marketing came back into my life. I was probably around 25, 26, something like that, probably 25. And for the next 6 years in network marketing, I literally struggled for 6 years, bounced around from like 7 different companies. My best month was $150, just trying to do what my upline was telling me to do, which is nothing to do with marketing. Just go out and bug as many people as you possibly can, which didn't work for me as an introvert, as somebody who didn't have a lot of friends, a naturally introverted type of person. You know, starting conversations with strangers for me is awkward. Asking them if they'd be interested in doing a business with me is super awkward, right? So that whole model was not going to work for me.
Yeah.
But through that whole process, I discovered Dan Kennedy, direct response marketing. I started learning a little bit about marketing. I hopped online in 2006 and started to learn about affiliate marketing. Made absolutely no money, but it just opened up my eyes to some different possibilities. And in 2007, I was very lucky to connect with some mentors who were having some incredible success online. And when I connected with them, I knew that this was going to be my opportunity because I wanted to learn marketing. I wanted to work with guys like this. I didn't want to do the old school belly to belly hotel meetings, house parties type of a thing. I knew this is what I wanted to learn. And then he told me it was going to be $10,000 to get started. And meanwhile, I had no money in the bank account. We were $100,000 in debt, not counting the mortgage. And I had made a stupid career decision, and I was doing a sales gig. I had made a total of $2,000 in income in the past 7 months. My wife was on maternity leave. Long story short, we were in a bad situation back in 2007. And he tells me, well, it's going to be $10,000 for you to get started with us in this business. And so obviously we had a very difficult decision to make. And I got to tell you, if I would have asked any of my friends or family at that point, what should I do? Every single one of them would have told me, are you crazy? Get a job, go pump gas. Don't put $10,000 in some stupid business opportunity online. That'd be retarded. That'd be ridiculous. Don't do that to your family. Of course, I don't listen to people like that. I took a risk. I invested my last $10,000, and literally 2 months later, that was it. I was done. I had made $26,000 in sales, and that was the beginning of my online marketing career. Next year, we launched MLSP, and that whole thing started. And 12 years later, I haven't had a job since. And I wanted to say it's all been because of that decision that I made, but no, it was the years and years of struggle and failure and personal growth that led up to that point.
Yeah. Well, it's funny when you say that. I made all kinds of mistakes. Sounds like an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And I think that, a lot of people, especially when it comes to being an entrepreneur, people have this idea sometimes that entrepreneurs don't make mistakes. When you hit success, you don't mess things up. And boy, that is, I think, the biggest misconception about people that have success, because I'll tell you what, even in my business, since I've had some, success over the last number of years, I screw it up all the time still. And I think that a lot of people don't realize that just because you screw it up, they're some of the most valuable learning lessons that you can have,
Oh, so many times. I think about all the different mistakes that I've made over the years, the mistakes we've made running MLSP. I mean, it's constant. You're always making mistakes, and we're always learning from those mistakes.
Yeah.
And it's like the motto that we have with MLSP is getting better and better.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what happens every single day. We are getting better and better.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, and as long as you live with that philosophy, and you're focused on getting better, then nothing matters. Nothing can stop you. Nothing can get in your way. Right.
Well,
It comes down to that mindset, right?
Well, and a lot of people, I think a lot of people take mistakes too personally. Like, they think that if I make a mistake that I'm not worthy, or they really do. I've seen people just take it very personal and really have a difficult time overcoming, because they think, well, because I made a mistake, I'm worthless, I'm no good. When actually learning and making mistakes, I think, are just, like I said, some of the best learning experiences you can have. And it really makes all the difference in your journey and success. Because if people think that they're going to succeed without making mistakes, it's just not possible. I just don't see how it's possible.
Yeah, and this is the challenge I'm having with my 11-year-old son right now, because he's a perfectionist, and it's funny because he takes after his mother and myself as well, because we both have perfectionist qualities, and so I see it in him. He hates to screw up. He so hates, like, I'm getting him into downhill mountain biking, and at ski resorts. Where you actually take the lift up the mountain and you just do the downhill. You just do the fun part, right? You don't have to bike up. Well, the difficult thing with that is that you have to get your bike up onto the lift, and it's, a heavier bike, a bigger bike. And the first couple of times he did it, he struggled with it, right? And so the other day we were going to go back to the resort to go back biking again. And I could see he was stressed out about it. I'm like, dude, you had such a great time. He's like, yeah, but I'm so bad at getting my bike on the lift. I'm like, you're worried about that? Right. But this is the reason I mention that is because so many people now, as adults, we carry those same type of things with us, because in school we were told we can't make mistakes. We were ridiculed when we did things wrong. We didn't get good grades. Maybe our parents, you put us down for that. Maybe our teachers put us down for that. Maybe our friends put us down. Whatever happened to you in the past, whatever made you to have these types of self-doubts when you make a mistake or you screw up, you beat yourself up, we've got to get over that. Like, the most successful people that I've seen in business, they're able to get over their mistakes quickly. Yep. And it's a skill that you can develop. It's a skill you can build. And it's one of the most powerful skills that you can develop for yourself to be a resilient entrepreneur and a resilient human being.
Yeah.
Right? To be able to overcome struggles, failures, difficulties, challenges. It's your ability to be able to reframe whatever just happened and look at, how can this serve me? How can I become a better person from what just happened? Right. So it's never about what happens to you. It's how you react to it.
100%. If more people understood that, we'd be seeing way more success stories. We really would. And I think that's one of the most important things.
It's totally true, and we also wouldn't be seeing what's going on in America and around the world right now as well. But that's another story. But it comes down to mindset.
It really is.
Honestly, everything that we're seeing right now with the people that are so upset in the world about the injustices that are done to them, it's their mindset. It's the perspective, because you'll see the exact same person with a completely different mindset that has a completely different philosophy about what's going on right now. It all has to do with how you see yourself in the world, and whether you see yourself as a victim, as somebody who's been, beaten by the system or beaten by the world, or if you see yourself as a powerful human being, as a sovereign human being who actually has the power to choose and to control their destiny. Obviously, we can't control everything, but we can control our little world. We can control how we react to a situation, and that is the secret, not only to success, but it's the secret to a good life.
Yeah, 100%. I love it. It is awesome, man. And it is. And this is why, even with my clients and people that I talk to on a regular basis, it's, if you can figure out how to really fix between, fix between what's between your ears, that's, you can get there,
Yeah.
But until you master that game, it's going to be rough.
It's a difficult game, because you're always just asking, well, how do you do it? How do you do it? Show me the hows.
Yeah,
right?
Show me the hows.
Yeah, I'll just do it. Just tell me what to do. No, no, no.
That ain't it. That ain't,
That ain't it.
you know. So this leads me to a question I have for you. So, you've been around online a long time. I've been around online a long time. I've been doing this over 12 years now. You've been doing it longer than me, 14, 15 years. We've seen it all, man. I mean,
Yes, we have.
I've seen so much crap online. And then one of my questions is like, when it comes specifically to online marketing, obviously we talk about mindset. We know that that's one of the most important things, but what do you think is the biggest hindrance to people's success online? I mean, we could probably point to a whole number of things, but if you could really, cause you've been teaching online entrepreneurs for years. I was one of your first students, in MLSP. I'm here today because of MLSP, but the thing is, what do you see of all those years of working literally with hundreds and thousands of people? What do you think is the biggest hindrance people have?
That's a good question. It's a tough question. We could probably come up with like 10 different answers, but
Yeah.
you know what? I'm going to say focus right now.
Yeah.
I'm going to say focus. And that's a big topic. It's actually a topic we could spend a lot of time on. Focus in everything in your business. Focus in the business that you're building. Focus in the audience that you're growing. Focus in who's your ideal client. Get focused on who your ideal client is. Get focused on what your message is. Get focused on what your elegant solution is. Get focused on your market to message. Get focused on your one sales funnel. It's that power of one concept, right? That laser focus into like the one thing that you're going to stand out in the marketplace with. Because what I see too many times is too many people are trying to push too many boulders up the mountain, right? Whether that's, trying to do multiple businesses, whether that's trying to sell multiple products, or whether that's trying to appeal to different niches, different markets, or different ideal clients within their broad market. Whether that's trying to do too many social media platforms, too many marketing strategies. All of that is killing your results right now.
Yeah.
And if you're struggling to get results, my biggest advice to you would be to laser focus. And that's the first thing that I do with clients. Every time when I sit down with a coaching client, I'm gonna find out everything I can about their business. What are they doing? And like, for instance, I'll ask them, give me your web properties. What are your web properties? And if I get back like 6 to 12 different web properties, I'm like, all right, well, here's your first problem, right? Most people have a real difficult time focusing. They think that if I do a little bit of everything, I spread myself around everywhere, one of these things will work. And that I just haven't seen that work.
Yeah.
I just haven't seen that work. And the biggest stories of success that I've seen are the people that laser focus in on their niche, their audience, their funnel, their offer, their brand, whatever it is. Narrow it down. Get focused. I know you want to help everybody in the world. You've got a big heart. That's awesome. I love you for it. But you're never going to be able to do that if you don't start with a focus. Understand that you can always expand your business beyond one niche, beyond one product. But I use the examples of Lululemon. And also Tesla is a perfect example to use. If you look at the way that Elon Musk grew Tesla, he started with one car for one ideal client, right? It was the Tesla S, 10 years ago now?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Over 10 years ago, right? He had one car that he sold to a specific audience, right? They were the first the first adopters, the early adopters, right? The people that have to have the latest iPhone, the latest technology. They were also well off. They had, they could spend $100,000 on a vehicle, right? He wasn't trying to mass market. He wasn't trying to create a vehicle for mass appeal. He got laser focused on exactly who he was going to serve, who was going to buy this vehicle, and then he made that the best vehicle for that person. There was no competition. There was no other vehicle that competed for that ideal client at that time. And people wonder why it exploded on the market. That's why, because he was laser focused on his ideal client. And then what did he do? Years later, He then expanded into another vehicle, and then another vehicle, and then another vehicle, right? And so you can see that example with so many different businesses if you kind of research back to to their early days. And I see that so much with online marketers as well in online business. You look at some of the greatest online marketers today, go back to where they began and where they started. It was usually in a different niche than what they're in right now. And usually it was a much smaller niche, right? Like, Mark, you're a perfect example.
Yeah.
When you came onto the scene, you exploded initially as like the YouTube guy, right?
Yeah.
Is that all you teach now?
No.
No.
But it's all I did for about a year and a half straight.
And that's how you initially broke into the marketplace.
Yep.
Right. So that's my biggest advice to anybody right now is focus. If you're spreading yourself around too thin, doing too many strategies, being on every social media platform, trying to sell a bunch of different products, trying to serve a bunch of different people, you're just making it so difficult on yourself. Get focused.
This is definitely the biggest, no doubt about it, because there is, and what causes this, and people are listening to too many voices. Is really down to, and here's the thing, like, for instance, I point this out often because I always find it so funny. I go on, Facebook, and you see an ad where somebody says email marketing is dead. And I just did a huge blog post about how awesome email marketing is, So somebody sees a post, like say something I did, says email marketing is amazing when you do it the right way. And then they immediately go over to Facebook and they see this ad that says email marketing is dead. Immediately what happens is it starts confusing the mind. And so you have to like really hone in on like, who do you like to follow? Who's got the results you want? Find that person or group or whatever and follow them and follow what they teach. And really you have to work very hard to block out a lot of other voices. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't buy maybe some other training or something that will help enhance what you're doing with that other group or person, but it really comes down to a laser focus. And, people think you got to have 1 million people to make a lot of money. You really don't. You can easily make a 6-figure income with, 50 to 100 people, if that.
Oh my God. Yeah, again. So focusing again on your ideal client, like who is my ideal client and how can I best serve them? You're absolutely right. Yep. 50 to 100, loyal fans that love what you do, absolutely is all you need. I mean,
yep.
that goes for any business. It doesn't matter how big or small your business is, right? We have several hundred people that are our best loyal customers.
Yep.
And, we love on them as much as we possibly can. And we focus on serving them.
Yep.
And that's something that it's something that as you grow your business, you continue to have to go back to. Like we went through this phase in our business with MLSP where we tried to expand our market and we tried to serve more people and it didn't work.
Right.
It didn't work well. And when we got back to our core clients, and this was several years ago, where we had to, we had some big meetings, and we were like, look, we need to turn this around. We need to get back to our roots. We need to get back to who our ideal clients are. And as soon as we did that, and we started to focus again on our ideal clients, business took off.
Yeah.
Membership skyrocketed because the message to market was much clearer again, right? And it spoke. This is the thing with your marketing is you've got to speak to your ideal client. You can't speak to everybody. When people look at your marketing messages, when people watch your videos, when people listen to you, they should be saying to themselves, wow, I can't believe it's like he's in my mind. It's like he knows exactly what I'm thinking. This is exactly the problem that I have. Yeah. That's how you want your prospect to react. If they're not, then you're speaking to the wrong people.
Yep.
If they are, then you're speaking to the right people, and you've got message to market match. And that's your biggest challenge as a marketer, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, is to find your message to market match. And there's no solution for it. Like there's no easy fix for it. You can't build a funnel to fix it. Right? You can't create a lead magnet to fix it. You can't pay money for ads to fix it. Nothing will fix it if your message doesn't match your market.
And it doesn't matter how fancy the website is either. You can be the sweetest looking funnel, but if the messaging sucks.
You can pay thousands of dollars for a website designer to build you a beautiful website. Oh my God, Jim shows this example. He does this in our workshop all the time because we speak about branding. And he did this workshop with StoryBrand. You've heard of them, right? StoryBrand.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So he did a workshop with them, and he shows this example of this website. And he says, does anybody know what this company does? And it's this beautiful website. Like you could see they spent thousands of dollars to have this website designed, right?
Yeah.
And the audience starts saying all these things that they think this website does. And it's none of them. They're like insurance lawyers or something like that. Like you would never tell, right? And it just goes to show, it just clearly shows that you can't fix bad marketing message with anything. You can't just throw money at it.
This reminds me of a video that I saw several years ago. There's a guy who used to do a website called Social Triggers. His name is Derek Halpern. I don't think he's really around anymore. I think he kind of got into something else or whatever, but he shared something in a video that hit me like a ton of bricks. And it is the thing that I tell all my clients. And so people had a blog or a website, and he was doing a live, kind of review of this person's website. So he gets right to the page and he immediately goes, I have no idea what you do. I have no idea. And he said, people will hit your website and they'll be gone within 5 to 10 seconds if they can't figure out what it is that you do. They need to be able to hit it right away, see the big bold thing that says this in your face. I see Facebook ads and I click on the ad and I still don't know what the heck they do. And I'm thinking, you guys, this ad must be bombing. And those are the same people that leave and go, oh, I tried Facebook ads and they didn't work. No, it's because you don't have your messaging down. You're not hitting the right people and you're not speaking clearly to the audience. And so it is super important, especially in today's super ADD world. Oh, my gosh.
Well, because everyone, when they hit your website or they see your live broadcast or your social media post, again, the medium doesn't matter. Your email, it doesn't matter what you're putting out there. The marketing principles apply exactly the same regardless of the medium that you're using. So you got to think every time somebody sees something that you post or create or send out or whatever, they're immediately thinking to themselves, is this for me? 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 Because we're constantly every second making a decision when we're on our phones. On social media is the worst, right? Because you're scrolling, and literally every split second you're thinking, is this for me? Is this worth stopping? Is this worth stopping? Is this worth stopping? Da, da, da. And you've got to catch their attention. In your email inbox, it's the same thing. What do I do when I open up my email inbox? I look at who it's from and the subject lines.
Yeah.
And am I going to bother opening this today or not? Right. And out of the dozens, and I've cleared out how many emails I get into my personal, like my daily email inbox. It's actually pretty small now. But there's very few emails that I actually open every single day. So think about that. Like that's what your users are doing as well. Your leads, your opt-ins, those people that gave you that email address, right? What's going to get them to stop and open up that email? Every single second, they've got to make that decision. Is this worth my time? Because we're all running out of time. There's so much going on in the world. There's so much going on in our lives. We're so damn busy. There's so much information to sift through. So every second, we're making these quick decisions. Is this for me? Is this worth my time?
Yep. And the specificity is everything, man. It is. It makes all the difference in the world. So, what my next question was going to be is about the key to generating leads. But honestly, I think we just answered that. Really, what's one of the big keys to generating leads? And it honestly comes down to the things we've already really talked about. Focus, honing in, really getting specific, and then, really speaking directly to your market, And I think too, it really comes down to strategy, a little bit of strategy, what kind of strategy you're going to use. But, you said this once before and it's always stuck with me. How do I generate leads is really the wrong question because there's a myriad of ways to do that. Just choose one and master it. What's your opinion on that?
100%. We come right back down to focus, right?
Yep.
So, if you're not generating enough leads right now, you've got to choose one method to generate leads and double down on that and focus all your energy to make that work.
Yep.
And that's the difference. It's not, and this is where we have to watch our mindset, and we have to watch the words that we use or the thoughts that we think, right? Well, let me try this for a little bit. No, that's not a marketing strategy, and that'll never work, right? I mean, come on, go watch some Yoda, right?
Yeah.
Do or not do. There is no try.
Right, exactly.
So we don't use the word try. You're not going to try this strategy out for a bit. You're going to make this strategy work. You're going to make a decision. You're going to make a choice. I'm going to make Facebook ads work. Let's make this work, right? I'm going to make YouTube work. Let's make this work. What do I need to do to make it work? What are the leaders doing to make it work? What are the experts doing to make it work? Oh, it's not working. Maybe I should invest in a course and increase my knowledge and my skills, right? Like, that's the only way you're going to succeed.
Yep.
Generating leads is get really good in whatever strategy you choose to do. And it can be anything. I mean, I've seen people generate leads on Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook, with Facebook groups, with Facebook pages, with Facebook ads, with Facebook live streams, with broadcast. Like, literally every single strategy works.
Yeah.
Which one do you want to do?
Yeah.
And then just focus and double down. And that was one of the things that we had to decide with MLSP as well, because we used to teach everything. We used to teach every marketing strategy under the sun, every lead generation strategy. And the challenge with that is people couldn't make decisions. And so they were trying everything and they were really struggling. We doubled down on Facebook. Yeah. And because the majority of our market is network marketers, online, home-based business, independent entrepreneurs, network marketers, affiliate marketers, and some coaches, we doubled down on Facebook social networking. Yep. Basically using your profile, connecting with people, having conversations, generating leads, making sales. It's the quickest, easiest, cheapest thing that we can teach you. And we literally, because we doubled down and we stopped teaching other strategies, when we did a live workshop with people where we could actually get our hands on them and we could literally make sure that they're doing the work, we had 100% success rate with every workshop we did in person, Mark.
That's awesome. That's crazy.
That's insane. I mean, there's nothing ever online that I've ever seen, and in my 12 years, nothing that we ever did where we could ever boast about having 100% success rate. But again, because we focused on exactly who our ideal client was, we focused on one marketing strategy, we focused on making that work for our people. All of our energy went into how do we get these people to have success with this strategy. And because we focused, we were able to achieve that kind of success.
Yep. Comes back to a few basic principles is really what it comes down to. And it really applies to pretty much every question we're ever going to ask. You know, it really
well,
does.
interview's over.
Yeah. Well, good talking to you guys tonight. Well, the good news is I got a couple more questions, but you know, so one of my questions to ask you is really, you know, when it comes to generating leads, I think, you know, a lot of people, you know, for me, leads are easy. You know, I mean, I could generate leads all day long I could do it in my sleep. I do it in my sleep. You know, I have content out there. I have ads that do it for me. Okay. But when it really gets down to it, you know, let's talk about converting leads, because leads are great, but if you don't know how to convert them, it could, and let's talk about what is a lead. A lead is really, it could be an opt-in where somebody goes into on an email list. It could be a connection on Facebook. That's a lead. It could be a new person in your group. That's a lead. You know, it's just a new connection in one way or the other. But I think the biggest question a lot of people have is, you know, when I start getting leads, no matter how I do it, how do I convert these people? You know, that's really what it comes down to. So what's kind of, you know, your opinion a little bit on some best ways to convert? And it probably does kind of come down to the strategy as well a little bit, but you know.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, you know, it depends. It kind of, I want to say it depends on the strategy that you're using. You know, are you using more kind of automated strategies where you're moving them through a funnel, or you're moving them through a process, through kind of like an automated process? Or are you going to be following up with them in person? Are you going to get on the phone with them? You're going to get on a Zoom call and have like a consultation. So I was going to say it kind of depends on the process that you're using. But in the end, the fundamentals are the fundamentals, right? Are you speaking to the right people? Are you bringing in the right people? So are you generating leads, but then you get on the phone with them, and they're not really interested in what you have to offer? Well, you've got a marketing problem, not a conversion problem, because you're probably bringing in the wrong leads.
Yep.
Right? So, you should be speaking by the time you get on the phone with somebody. Hopefully, you've done a good qualification process that they have identified themselves as your ideal client.
Yep.
Okay. And if you've gotten clear on that, then you should have put some kind of, hoops to jump through where they need to identify themselves as your ideal client before you get on the phone with them.
Yeah.
Now, if you're just a beginner, if you're kind of just getting started and you haven't optimized that qualification process, totally fine. Just get on the phone with as many people as you can.
Yep.
That is the best experience. If you're new, if you're kind of struggling, or if you're just trying to get this off the ground, my best advice for you is get on the phone with as many people as you can.
Yep.
Have conversations with your leads and your prospects. Learn how to ask questions. That's an incredible skill that you absolutely must develop. Learn how to lead a conversation with questions. Learn how to ask questions to lead a conversation, to lead your prospect, to learn more about your prospect. Because with those conversations, you're going to learn so many valuable things about your prospects, and you're going to learn exactly what you should be saying in your marketing to move them through the process, to qualify them properly, to make sure that you're attracting the ideal clients for your product or service, for whatever it is that you're selling. But again, if you're attracting the right person, the sale shouldn't be difficult.
Right.
Like you should never feel like you're needing to sell somebody or convince somebody or use some kind of tactics. Now, obviously, there are powerful sales skills and sales tactics that will allow you to get more sales than you're making right now, right? So, for instance, when we do when we sell our mentorship programs, we have this qualification process that we take, and I get to be on the final call with the most qualified prospects. I get to be on the final call with myself and one of our partners who's an expert in sales. And I let him handle the sales conversation. I'm there as the owner of the company to kind of facilitate the conversation. But I let him handle the sales conversations. And I have to say, like, his skills are pretty incredible when it comes to turning somebody that maybe wouldn't have moved forward because of the objections that they've created, the stories they've created in their mind, and helping them to reframe that so that they do take action and do move forward. So there is something to be said about developing your sales skills, learning how to deal with objections, learning the things to say to get somebody to shift their perspective. Very powerful skills. And you can learn those, and anybody can learn them if you have that desire to.
Yep.
But it doesn't mean that you need to have those skills to make sales.
Right.
Because I would say 75% of those conversations were lay down sales. I could have sold them without having him on the phone.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they had qualified themselves through the process. We had built up enough relationship. We had built up enough trust, enough authority. We've put enough value into the program. All they needed was a few simple questions answered. We answered those questions, and then they're ready to get started and move forward in the next step. So that's what the majority of your conversations should be like. And 50 to 75% of your conversations, of your sales, should be a pretty easy process. You shouldn't have to convince anyone. You shouldn't have to even use any type of sales skills to make the sale if you're speaking with the right person. If you've built up enough value, you've built up enough trust, and enough, relationship.
Yeah. Well, it comes down to, you said it right at the beginning. I think this is the most crucial part, especially when you get on the phone with somebody, is shut up and let them talk. I mean, honestly, ask a question and let them talk. I mean, I learned this many years ago. Best book ever on relating with people, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Dale Carnegie.
Yeah.
Number one, he talked about, I always reference this because in that book, he's got a chapter called How to Be a Good Conversationalist. And he gives this example about how he went to an event and he sat next to this guy who was a botanist. And he knew nothing about botany. And he sat next to this guy, and for 3 hours they talked, but he didn't really talk. He just asked a few genuine questions, and the guy just talked about botany because it was his passion. And by the time they got up, he had hardly said a word. And the guy said, "Man, you are the best conversationalist I've ever met." And he's like, "I never said anything. I barely said a word, you know?" And it was like, because people love to talk about themselves. It's the number one topic. You know, if I get together with you, like, "Norb, how you doing? How's the family, man? How the kids doing?" You love to talk about your kids. You know what I mean? You love to talk about your wife. You know, I mean, that's what people love. So you have to let people talk and really let people express who they are, because through that speaking, you're going to find they're going to say what their needs are, and then you can then target those specific needs with your product or service. And they're going to say it just without even thinking about it.
Yeah, and it really is a simple shifting from yourself to your prospect, right?
Yep.
So you stop thinking about selling your damn products and services or your programs or whatever it is you're selling. Who cares about what you're selling? Stop caring about what you're selling. Stop caring about making the sale. Stop caring about you, and just focus on your prospect. When you're in a conversation with them, just be genuinely interested and curious about them.
Yeah.
Their problems, their challenges, their desires, their roadblocks, their doubts, their questions. Tell me more about that. Oh, that's really interesting. Tell me more about that. Oh, why do you say that? 2 really powerful questions right there. Tell me more about that.
Yeah.
Okay. If you're at a loss for, tell me more about that. Or, why do you say that?
Yeah.
Why do you say that? That is a perfect question to ask whenever you're in a debate.
Yeah.
Or an argument or a discussion with anybody. Okay. I try to teach this to anybody whenever they get into a debate, because most people have the tendency to defend themselves.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I see a lot of people debating and arguing online right now, obviously, in social media with everything going on. And so all you see is people defending their positions, right? Stop it.
Yeah.
Stop defending your position. Ask them a question.
Yeah.
Ask them to defend themselves. And it's the same thing with your prospect. If your prospect gives you an objection, force them to defend that objection.
Yeah.
And they'll quickly see that objection doesn't actually exist.
Right.
Right? And that's what you can do. That's the power of questions. So they tell you, well, I just don't know if I have enough time for this. Oh, really? Tell me more about that.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Why do you say that? Why do you have enough time?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then that forces them to actually sit and think about what they just said. Because most people don't think about what they say.
Right.
Like 99% of people, I'll put no thought to the words that they put on social media or the words that come out of their mouth. No thought at all. So what you're challenged to do is, as a coach and as a leader, is to lead them through the thought process.
Yeah.
And so you need to slow them down. You need to stop them. And you need to ask them to defend their thoughts.
Yeah.
Right? I don't have enough money for this. Really? You don't tell me more about that. Why do you say that? Why do you think that?
It's powerful, man. It's a powerful statement.
Right, exactly. And so you got to think about these questions. And again, this comes from a curiosity.
Yeah.
Right? Like, why do you say that? Well, tell me, how long has that been a problem?
Yep.
Well, when are you gonna fix it?
Right.
What are you gonna do to fix that?
The power of questions, man. It gets straight to the heart of things. I love what Julia Baxter says here. She says, "My husband says nothing. People love talking to him."
Yes.
You know, it really is.
Yeah.
It's super powerful, but I love that response, man. I never thought about that, you know. Why do you say that? You know, let people defend themselves. And that's a very powerful thing. Because, you know, in the end, you know, if you're there as a person that really genuinely has the desire to really help people, you know, you can make money in the process, but you can't have commission on your breath. Like it's gotta be a fit. You know, like I do not want to sell something to someone who doesn't feel like my product is a fit for them.
You do not.
No, you do not want that.
Trust Mark.
Trust me, you don't. I've seen it. I've had
money.
that happen, you know, where somebody bought something and it really wasn't the best, and remember we talked about making mistakes. Yeah. I mean, Norb and I could probably tell story after story of things that we've learned over the years,
Yep.
and so in the end, I remember one time this is years ago, but I was promoting an opportunity and I literally had this woman on the sign up page. This was the biggest lesson I ever had. She was literally on the sign up page. She's filling out the form and she makes a statement and she says, I really need to make money in the next 30 days for this to work. And I was like, whoa, stop. And I stopped her and I said, nope, don't sign up. Because I was like, if you're coming at it with that desperation mindset, it's not going to work. And I've approached ever since. And this is back in 2012, 2013. And would you know, I told her, she said, I'm out of a job. I said, why don't you go get a job? Why don't you come back to me in 6 months and let's talk then? Would you believe it? That woman came back in 6 months and she signed up then. You know what? It really is a matter of you have to have their best interest at heart and be willing to tell them the truth, even though, it might not put money in your pocket, but in the end, it's going to be a much better situation for you. You got to be willing to let it go,
100%.
So,
100%. Yeah.
All right. So 2 more questions here and we'll wrap this up. First off, this has been great. We've got a lot of great comments, guys. In about 5 minutes, we're going to open it up for a few questions. Maybe we'll have Norb answer a few questions for us, for you guys. So if you have questions, go ahead and start typing them out and put them on there and then we'll answer them. But I wanted to ask you, so obviously we have a lot of social media marketers here, people that market on social media. One of the key things that people lack on social media is engagement. They're not real sure how to create the engagement. And I've seen that over and over and over with people that I work with as well. What are some ideas you might be able to throw out to get better engagement on social media, with their posts and things like that?
Are we talking about business pages or personal profiles or?
Honestly, it could be whatever,
Yeah. Yeah. And honestly, I think these rules kind of apply to almost any social media platform.
Yep.
So again, coming down to right audience, right message. Okay. So the people that are being added to your social media platform, whatever it is that you're using, are you adding the right people? Are the right people following you, liking you, subscribing to you, adding you as a friend? Because if you're not adding the right audience, your ideal client, then obviously they're not going to be engaging with you because the content you're posting isn't relevant for them. Okay. So that's, again, number one, just going back to the basics there. Second is I would say variety is key. So you should have a mix of, lifestyle, fun, lighthearted stuff, mix in a little bit of humor, mix obviously have your business stuff, whatever your business is associated with. And again, depending on the platform, I think the balance between how much business and how much personal lifestyle could be different, depending on what platform you're using. If you're on LinkedIn, you could probably have more business than, as much profile. Whereas like on Facebook, personal profile, you might want to have a little more lifestyle,
and
lighthearted stuff and mix it up with business. Proof is always important. So you gotta build likability, trust, and authority.
Yeah.
Those are the 3 things that you've got to build with your prospects, with your audience. So how do you build likability? Well, that's your personal lifestyle stuff, letting people into your life a little bit, sharing some personal things, sharing some humor, sharing funny things, sharing anecdotes, sharing stories, sharing moments in your life. That'll create that likability. Trust. How do you create trust? Provide value, solve problems, answer questions, address people's challenges. That's what providing value is all about. And then authority. How do you instill authority? It's a good question. Again, that happens with both the first 2, okay? And then also potentially you can throw in elements of proof or credibility. So proof, results that you get, successes that you have, achievements and accomplishments. You obviously don't want to brag too much about yourself because people don't really care, but definitely you want to show it or highlight it, right? In whatever ways you can. If you have clients that have success, or team members that have success, share that as much as you can. Like, share the successes of people around you. That gives you credibility. That gives you authority. Surround yourself with other people who have authority and credibility. You can borrow from them, right? So interviews like this, videos, pictures with other people who have credibility and authority, all of that adds to your authority and credibility as well, right? So that's where the variety kind of comes in. And then I think probably the last tip I would give is give yourself the freedom to play around.
Yeah.
You got to try different things. And so you should, again, this is why you should really focus. And I'm going to go with an extreme here, but I would focus on going deep within one platform.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to go wide, spreading yourself on 5 different social media platforms and never really mastering any of them, but just kind of being present on all of them, right? Why not just focus on one platform and go super deep?
Yep.
Right? Be really engaged, focused on your audience there. Just do everything you can to build that one audience as engaged as you possibly can. I guarantee you, you focus on that for 30 to 90 days. And you notice I said 30 to 90 days, not like 3 days. Okay. 30 to 90 days. Focus on one platform, focus on really mastering that, going deep, growing that audience as quickly as you can in those 30 to 90 days, posting amazing content, a great variety of content, really focusing on your engagement, engaging with others. So there's another secret to engagement, is engaging with others, right? If you're not engaging on other people's posts, if you're not commenting and liking and engaging and replying to comments and getting into conversations, how are you expecting others to engage with yours? Plus, that helps the algorithm as well when you're engaging. Right? So there's a bunch of little tips there, but all of that is really important when it comes to engagement. There's not one thing that you can do.
Well, and if there's the biggest tip I could give on this is you said it and it was a little nugget and I want to make sure people caught it, but allow people a little window into your life.
Yeah.
You have people, I don't think people realize how much that endears people to you when you share just a little bit of your life. My kid started school yesterday. I posted about my daughter. I put some pictures of my daughter, on Facebook. I don't do that just to get the engagement. I do it because I'm genuinely proud of my daughter because she just started high school yesterday. She's a freshman. So I post that and guess what? I got a ton of engagement. Got people, really do that because I'm proud of my daughter, And so that little window in, helps people to see and empathize with you on a lot of things. And what happens is when it comes down to connecting with a person, they can say, hey, I saw your post the other day about, your daughter. I thought that was super cool. I mean, those little things make all the difference. And one other thing you said too, you have got to be out there commenting and liking and talking with other people. Don't just expect everybody to comment on yours and you go and comment on nobody else. It's called social media for a reason, So.
Yeah. And one last thing that I would say, and I've seen you do this successfully as well, is find your people.
Yeah.
Find your tribe, find your people, and stand up for them.
Yep.
So this is where, you can get into that topic. And this is another way to create engagement is through controversy. And I'm going to take this softly, but understand what I'm trying to say here. Controversy is one of the best things you can do in marketing. I've launched some controversial campaigns in the past, and they've always been my most successful ones.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is because you align more deeply, because marketing is about depth.
Yep.
It's about connecting on an emotional, deep level with your people.
Yeah.
Right? So do not be afraid to offend others. They are not your people.
You nailed it.
Right? They are not
Nailed
your
it.
people. I do not need everybody to like me or respect me or agree with me at all. All I care, honestly, like in marketing, I care about my people, my tribe. And this comes back down to your identifying and finding your ideal client.
Yep.
One of the exercises that we do with our clients is we get them to outline and clarify their values.
Yep.
What do your personal values have to do with marketing?
Yep.
Everything, because they have to do with the people that you want to surround yourself
Right.
with, the customers, the clients, the audience that you want to build.
Yep.
Who are your people?
Yep.
Who is your tribe?
Yep.
How can you stand up for them? Right? One of my core values is freedom.
Yep.
Simply put, freedom.
Yep.
I will defend freedom everywhere, all the time,
Yep.
regardless of circumstance.
Yep.
Freedom is my one core value. I will take freedom over safety and security any day. That is one of my biggest values.
Yep.
Everything. Now, I will offend people because I will stand up for freedom no matter what, over safety any day, right? And there are some people that are a little too afraid of that. They're not willing to take the risk to work for freedom, to fight for freedom.
Yep.
They're not my people.
Yep.
Okay? So if you're clear on your core values,
Yep.
and Mark, you're a man of God, you're a Christian,
Yep.
you have no hesitation to let
Exactly.
people know in your audience that you are a Christian.
Yep.
Because
You're
why would you want to do business with somebody who is the complete opposite of that and who does not respect and value your beliefs?
Right. Yep.
You wouldn't. Why would you want to do business with a person like that?
Flat out, like I've had people tell me you shouldn't mix religion and business. And I say, don't follow me then.
Yep.
I'm going to share what's my core beliefs, what are my core passions in life. And if you don't like it, move on.
This is one of the cool things about entrepreneurship. One of the cool things about living in what is still right now a free country. And
yeah, well, for the moment.
For the moment, let's not take it for granted. Is that we can choose who we work with.
Yeah.
I can fire customers. If I have a problem customer,
yep,
I don't have to do business with them. I don't have to serve them.
Yep.
Right? If I have a client, I don't have to, if that's giving me trouble, I can say, look, man, I don't think this is a good fit. And I've had to do that with several clients. I don't think this is a good fit.
Yep.
I don't want to take your money anymore.
Right.
Because this is not a good fit here. This is not working out. I can't help you anymore. Right?
Well, toxic relationships just for the sake of money it's the worst prison ever.
The worst, absolutely.
It's a prison,
worst,
man.
Yeah,
it's a prison, And, my first exposure to controversy, so to speak, was probably back when I first got started online and I was on Mike Dillard's email list. And I got the famous "get the F off my list" email.
He still does that.
I know. If you're one of those tire kicking, blood sucking, never buy anything people, get off my list. I don't want you here. You're a drain on me. I just remember that email like so, it was so key for sure. But no, I love it, man. And I think that's why you and I connect on such a level because honestly, when Norb and I get together, we go down different rabbit holes, and we can sit there and talk about rabbit holes, and I think it's fun, it really gives perspective and, that's the key here. So, I did want to open it up, guys, for a couple questions before I let Norb go here. He's given us an hour of his time and I am insanely appreciative of it. But one of the questions we had here, and I'm going to go back to, Julia, cause she had asked this and her question was, what is Norbert's next frontier? His only I can X, and I got to do it.
Wait. Say that again.
Now, in other words, where are you going? What's Norbert's, long-term thing is kind of what I get from it. But
shit.
Yeah, that's a deep one.
Who asked that question?
Julia Baxter.
Oh, Julia.
Yeah, I know she's thinking deep here.
Wow, Julia, you're really putting me on the spot right now. The reason for that is because I'm working on a project that I am scared shitless of right now.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's awesome, man. You gonna tell me?
Yeah. Yeah. So Julia, I'm at a point. There's a project that I've wanted to do since 2011. It's been on my mind. I haven't had a clear vision for it. I finally got the clear vision for it about a year ago. And I've procrastinated for a year. COVID hit. More things have led me to make progress on it. I'm at a point where I'm ready to launch it in the next few weeks. and I just have to send out a first few emails. And I know that as soon as I send those emails, the ball will have started rolling and I won't be able to stop it. What that means is that I'm going to be putting myself out there in a place where I'm slightly uncomfortable, and it scares the shit out of me.
I love it.
And those emails have been sitting for 2 weeks and I haven't hit send yet. They were supposed to go out last week and they haven't gone out yet. And there's constantly distractions that prevent them from going out, and it's because I'm afraid.
Yeah. Wow.
So that's what's next on the agenda for me. And if I can get those emails sent out and if I can get over my fear, and if I can really step into what I want to be doing next, then it's going to happen, and I'll be releasing something in the probably about the next 6 weeks or so. So stay tuned for that.
Hey, if you ain't scared, you ain't growing.
Yep.
So,
yep.
Oh man. Well, I have one question here. Sally's asking me, how did you set up your automated Facebook Messenger like you did communicating about this live tonight? It's called ManyChat. And I have a training actually all about it. So send me a message and I'll send it over to you. You can check it out. It's basically how you do that. So hit me up, send me a message, and I'll shoot it over to you. All right. What other questions we got, guys? I don't want to keep Norb here all night, but if you guys have any final questions you want to ask, shoot. And Norb, what time is it for you, Norb? Are you?
I'm 6 o'clock Pacific.
Oh, okay.
I'm Pacific, so it's still pretty early. We're gonna start making dinner pretty soon here.
Yeah. So, but well, if you guys, if you don't have any other questions, first off, I just want to say, Norb, appreciate you coming out, man. I personally could sit here and chat all night with you. I mean, I think we could talk and I know, like I said, when we get together at live events, we tend to talk and go down rabbit holes. But I just love it, man. You know, you're a deep thinker, and so am I, and I think that's why we connect. You know, because I'm not a person that likes to just accept things for face value. I like to dig. I like to find out. Like, see, this is what gets us excited, man. You know, and I love it. Like, I hate accepting things at face value. I love to, that's why even when it even comes to business, when somebody says something regarding business or a strategy, for me, it's not just about, I'm not going to accept what they say at face value. Like, I'm going to dig on it. I want to find out the real nitty gritty, like what really makes this thing tick. Mm-hmm. And I do that with all areas of my life, spiritually, politically, all kinds of things. I love to go down that rabbit hole. And I think that, again, that's why we connect so well. So for me, I am incredibly grateful for your friendship and love the value you provide. And you've always been a mentor to me, man. You were like one of my first online mentors, you and the MLSP guys. So for me, to be able to come out and, interview you and talk a little bit, it's always a joy. So
it's an honor, man. Lots of fun. I mean, every time you message me and you're like, hey, come do an interview, I'm just like, yeah, sure. Tell me when.
I know. I appreciate that too, man.
I love having the opportunity to hang out. We don't do it enough.
I know.
I'm not social enough as it is. I don't chat with my friends enough as it is. So all these opportunities I got to take advantage of.
Well, hey, man, the best blog post you ever did was the one that said, the 5 reasons I loathe social media, or something like that.
Yes. Yeah.
And I thought, I got to read it. It was a perfect headline. So you're good at that. You're good at that, man. So, all right, man. Well, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for coming out tonight. If you get value from this video, tag somebody, share it in Messenger, share it on your page, let people know about it, tag them. I guarantee they'll get some value and some nuggets tonight that were shared. And if anything we shared tonight helps one of you, it was totally worth it. And so I appreciate you guys coming out. Norb, love you, brother. Thanks so much. And have a great night, everybody.